from there. Okay, let me just make sure I'm doing this all correct. Thank you for your patience here. Let me start. I'm going to unshare for a moment. There we go. I think this will work here. Cool. Then I'm excited to dive in and go through some information about the book. Okay, sweet. It's like we're just about ready to roll. Okay, so plan is to go through this for about 20-ish minutes, leave some time for question and answer and prayer at the end. But again, I'm excited for what God is doing, excited for going through some information tonight, and excited just to see again what God is going to be doing through this book. Very excited. It's kind of not up to me. I feel like I've done some of the work and preparation, and now it's just up to God to show up. And I know He will, so excited for that. But let's dive in. I have a nice little Canva slides ready to roll here. But what I want to do is start off by sharing a couple things. First of all, a nice little book cover there like that. So when it comes to this, Wake Up Jesus People, the book. Okay, so I've been working on this for a while. It's been a long time in the making. Today's officially the kickoff here. And I know some of you know me, some of you don't. So I wanted to share a little bit more about me and my family. It's my crew up here. My wife, Abby, she's a pastor at Life Church Green Bay. Micah's 5, Caleb's 3. I'm in direct sales. I run a Cutco cutlery office. Been doing that for about 21 years now and love it. And God's calling us out to the Pacific Northwest. We're actually heading out there to help Life Church Green Bay start a Seattle area campus, and excited about that. Excited for what God is doing there. Very nervous as well, and excited and expectant and hopeful. All the same emotions I'm feeling about the book as well. But I think the move is a little bit more, a little bit more of a crazy thing. But very excited for that. Obviously, this being Wake Up Jesus People book launch, I have a few verses for you. Ephesians 5:14 says, "Wake up, sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you." I feel a lot of Jesus people out there sleepwalking. They're zombies. They're people who are just coasting through life. Maybe they're Sunday Christians. They're not fully getting the relationship and this abundant, Jesus journey that He has for us. And we're kind of coasting, I feel, a lot of Jesus people. And so I'm excited to go through some information from the book, give a little preview of the book, and then also leave some time for question and answer and thoughts at the end here. As far as the book, I've been practicing some of these morning routines. I've been practicing things for about 13 years now, but it's been 2 years prep for the book. Some people have asked, like, how long has this been in the making? What's been going on? So about a decade of practicing just successful habits and morning routines and diving into church and going through my ups and downs in life, and then being able to really dive more into my Jesus journey and my faith. And so about 4 years ago, I started doing some more research. I started doing a lot of Bible plans. I started doing some extra book reading on things that related to if I were to write a book like this. And then I had a spiritual mentor, Barry, who challenged me to start a men's life group called Wake Up Jesus Guys. So I did that. It was great. So much fruit from that. I did about 4 or 5 sessions. There's about 50 guys who went through that, and there's so much fruit. And it was so cool to see. And it was an 8-week discipleship group. And I decided to now make that into a book. And so on January 1st, 2024, I decided to start making it a reality, commit to writing the book, and did that about 2 years ago. And I started waking up at 4:30 instead of 5, about 30 minutes early to work on the book, was writing every day for about 7 months, and then decided to obviously go through there's so much that goes into writing a book. There's so much prep work. There's so much you need to put into it. Thank you for all of you who did some pre-reading, who gave me a lot of tips, who helped me through the struggles of this and the challenges of this. There's book editors, and there's graphic design artists, and there's virtual assistants. There's so much that goes into it, and then making it ready to be put out there and put on Amazon. So obviously you want to put out a great product. And so really it's been the last 2 years in the making till finally now with the launch day. As far as the book overview, I'm going to just go through all the chapters of the book and try to give like a 1-sentence little snippet. Some of them I'm going to give some tips on. So the goal is that you leave this launch call today with some practical tips from the book that you can obviously read in the book and then share it, but definitely want to make sure that I'm giving you some value here, but then also that you really desire to read the whole book after I give you some snippets. Can everyone see this? Thumbs up. Can you see that with the book overview? Cool. Just want to make sure. So the first 6 chapters are kind of the intro to the book. Chapter 1 is a new beginning. Talk about my life and how I started off with I had a new beginning. I was a 1 foot in the world, 1 foot out of the world, kind of guy. I was pursuing my own accolades, pursuing my own kingdom, pursuing all the pleasures, all the fun, all the partying in my 20s. And then in my 30s, I really was a strong Jesus guy, but I claimed that God was number 1, but he truly wasn't. And work was number 1. And so really chapter 1 is all about a new beginning and me really actually treating God as my number 1 priority. Chapter 2 is the cost of living a lukewarm life. I feel a lot of Jesus people do the coasting thing, do the sleepwalking thing. And there's so much more to get out of your Jesus journey. And when we live a lukewarm life that's kind of going through the motions or, just going to church on Sundays, it's like we're not really getting what God designed us to get from him and that relationship and that Jesus journey. So I go through that, the cost of that. Chapter 3 is Awaken the Warrior. Really want to encourage people to step up and really put on the full armor of God. Understand we are in a battle. Life is tough. Life is stressful. And it's a battle every day. And when we realize we are in a spiritual warfare, spiritual battle for our soul on a daily basis, it might make us wake up a little differently, might make us live a little differently. So I'm challenging everyone in that chapter to awaken the warrior within you. We all have a warrior within, and God can help awaken it, and he wants you to awaken it. Chapter 4 is Who's Influencing You. That's just all about we become who we surround ourselves with, and look at everyone you're hanging out with, what's kind of who they are. That's who you're going to become, right? Show me your habits and show me your circle. I'll show you your future. Chapter 5 is about pursuing joy instead of pleasure. I talk a little bit about, again, me in my 20s and pursuing the fun and the partying and the accolades and the income, and how that pleasure seeking mentality is fleeting. It goes quick and it's not long lasting joy, and God provides that for you. And so choosing joy instead of pleasure, which goes totally opposite of what the world tells us. Chapter 6 is setting life priorities. I'll go right to that slide right away. But with life priorities, at church, my pastors, Sean and Sonny Hennessy, broke this down and said, this is how it should be for a Jesus person. You have God, number 1, and then you, selfishly, number 2, because you have to be your best self going into your family and your kids and everyone. So then your spouse, your kids, and extended family. For me, I had work number 1, and then I think me number 2, and then probably God was in there for sure top 5, but I wasn't truly living it out. So now it's great as work is like number 10, still very important, but this truly has been my priorities for the last 5 years, I'd say, last 4 or 5 years. And it's been really cool to see how that's worked and changed my mentality and my joy and my peace. But you got to have your priorities straight, got to be your best self for everyone else. It starts with God being number 1 in your life. So a lot more on that in chapter 6. Then we go to section 2, Disciplines of the Mighty. Talk about morning critical and about how important your morning is. It's the rudder of the boat. It directs the whole rest of the day, right? If that little rudder is just adjusted just a little bit, it changes the whole direction of the boat. And that's what your day is. The morning is it starts your day on a certain path, and then it goes that way. So that's why your morning is critical. And then I talk about snooze revolting your morning and the necessary night, as well as unbearable to unstoppable. So let me go through that. So when you look at snooze revolting, that is right here. So you want to set your intentions the night before. And why I go over this is because so many times and the book's all about, let me handle this too. There's 2 directions of the book. First direction is wake up as a Jesus person, wake up, live life. There's so much to be, there's so much to be had. We are in a real battle. So we need to wake up, but also too, we need to wake up early and start our day with Jesus and getting things rolling. So 8 ways to snooze revolt your morning, because a lot of people struggle with just hitting snooze, and then they don't get in exercise, they don't get in the Bible time or the Jesus time, and then they're running around last minute trying to figure things out and stressed and rushed all day and wondering why they have no peace and joy because they didn't start it with Jesus. So instead of hitting snooze 5-6 times in the morning, here is a little preview to that chapter, which is set your intentions the night before. Tell yourself you're going to wake up excited, as opposed to, oh my gosh, tomorrow's going to suck, I'm so stressed. And what do you know? You wake up that way because you told yourself you would. 2, keep your alarm clock across the room. That way you have to get up and go get it. You can't just reach over and hit snooze. Say a prayer of gratitude. When you wake up in the morning, if you start your day with gratitude and you thank God for waking up again, you thank God for your blessings, it's going to give you a little more pep in the step. Number 4, brush your teeth, right? Get that bed, that gross mouth, like, just, you know what it is, the grossness when you wake up, your mouth. Get a fresh breath, wash your face, splash some water in your eyes, get some cold water on your face, wake up, drink a full glass of water. You're hydrated from sleeping for 6, 7, 8 hours. So get refreshed, get dressed for exercise. Why? Because you should exercise every day, get the body going. Also, if you get dressed in your clothes and you don't work out, you feel like such a loser because you got dressed in your clothes and you have to take them off. And then get natural sunlight, right? The basic time of the year can be a little easier than other times, but get natural sunlight. God made us that when that sun hits our eyes, it wakes us up. That starts some of the processes of our body to wake us up. I also talk about the 11 needs for a necessary night. So really, your morning starts the night before. Think back of biblical times, right? The Jewish people celebrated like that sundown was the start of the next day already. In Genesis, God said there was evening and then there was morning, the first day. So if we think about the evening being the start to our day of starting from rest versus at the end of the day, plopping down on the couch and going, oh my gosh, what a rough day, it might switch that mentality. And again, I have to go through this stuff quick because of the timing of the call. Obviously, this is just a little preview because it's all in the book. So there's a lot of things on here. If you watch a lot of health gurus. Now, in this book, I'm not a health guru. I'm not an expert. I'm just a participant who practices this a lot and has watched a lot of videos and read a lot of books to get what I feel are really good. So I won't go through those now, but those are there. And that's in the 11 needs for necessary night. And then another one of the chapters, I talk about going from unbearable to unstoppable. So 40 is very biblical. There's over 100 times in the Bible that 40 is used. It's a time of testing, a time of transformation, a time of God setting up his people, whether it was Moses at Mount Sinai for 40 days before he got the 10 commandments, or the Israelites wandering around the desert for 40 years before they made it to the promised land, Goliath taunting the Israelites before David came with his sling, or Jesus being on the earth post-resurrection for 40 days. Whatever you look at for habits, whether you think it takes 21 days or 66 days or however many days, 40 is biblical. So I'm going to stick with that. And days, anything you're going into, any new challenge, any new discipline, anything, it's going to take some time. And the first 10 days are unbearable, where you just feel like, I cannot do this. This is horrible. Days 11 through 20 are uncomfortable. Still don't like it. It's uncomfortable, but you're getting used to it. Days 21 through 30 is bearable, where most people drop off. They say, I've done it for 21 days. I'm good. I can take my mind off this and let my guard down. And that's where a lot of people fail. And then they go back into their old habits. But days 31 through 40 is where you become unstoppable. And this becomes a part of your identity, whatever habit it is, whatever choice you're making, whatever desire you have, it's taking 40 days for it to become a part of you. So there's that. And then there's vital discipline. It's nice to have discipline no matter what area of life, and how you do some things is how you do most things. So if you're disciplined in your workouts, you're disciplined in your habits or your Bible time, it should carry over into other areas of your life. And if your Jesus time and your start to your day is not as disciplined, well, I'm sure there's other areas of life that are not as disciplined. I talk in chapter 12 about starting your day with Jesus and how important that is. I talk about the sacred start for Jesus people. And this is a morning time, a morning routine, disciplines that have been well thought out by many people that are really great and powerful. And the reason I call it a sacred start is because it is sacred, it's holy, it is set apart. When you start your day with Jesus for 30 minutes or an hour, 2 hours, it's powerful and it's holy. And then there's the parts of the sacred start: prayer, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading the Bible, and scribing. So I go through that, called the daily pavers. All right. So I'll go through that here so you can see a little bit of that. So daily pavers to start your day and to pave the way for the rest of your day. So prayer, this is how it can look like if you want to spend an hour. You could spend 15 minutes. You could spend 2 hours. For me, it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. I get up around 5 a.m. I get my daily pavers in. I know by 7:15, I have no chance of peace because my boys are up, time to get them ready and go to school and all that. So this is an example. So prayer, affirmations from scripture. What Bible verses are you reading to fill your mind with those affirmations and you feel down? Visualizing God-given dreams. He's given you those for a reason. Exercise, getting healthy. It doesn't matter how great of a spouse, of a parent, of a worker, of a pastor, of a leader you are, if you're sick or you die before you are supposed to because there weren't some healthy habits put into place. Reading the Bible, of course, and then scribing or journaling as well. So that is part of the sacred start. Let's go back to some of the chapters here. And there's a chapter of how, now you know this, how do you craft it? How do you break it down minute by minute and figure out what do I need, when do I need to wake up, when do I need to go to bed in order to have my morning sacred start. There's some other bonus chapters here, refueling with the refreshing lunch. So for me as a recovering workaholic, I would just work all day. I wouldn't have lunch, I wouldn't take a break, and it would just be all day working and grinding. So we need to refuel. So whether it's worship music, getting out, getting some sun, going for a walk, getting exercise. If athletes get halftime and performers get intermission and even kids get recess, we should probably have a little day break. So that's all there. Slowing down to Sabbath. Obviously, those of you who are Jesus people know the power of that, but are we actually doing it? So all these chapters are filled with backing from scripture, as well as just what other successful people and sources have said. Chapter 23 is the power of biblical fasting, which really, I didn't really have fasting as a part of my life until probably 5 or 6 years ago, where I took it seriously. And then chapter 24, warrior worship. So worship is a big part of my life, big part of people who are Jesus people, to really get their mind right and their soul right with worship, not fill our mind with all the news and all the talk radio and all that. And then section 3 is the life of the brave. So chapter 25 and 26 are talking about planning your dreams, living life of your dreams. There's sections in the book to be able to go through and just make lists of your dreams in different categories. So you should be leaving those 2 chapters with 100 to 200 dreams that you can now take action on, right? When there's hope in the future, there's power in the present. And so being able to have those, especially as Jesus people, God wants us to do crazy things. He wants us to do things that can't be done only by us, that can only be done with him. And so the more we plan and the more we dream, the more we can also have a direction in our life that God then can use and then bless and then kind of show off through. Chapter 27, being courageous. As a Jesus person, it's not always easy in this world to be bold and courageous. And then chapter 28 is the 40 Forge challenge, which I'll get into in a moment. And then the final mission, which is making disciples of all nations. So that's a quick book overview. So obviously much more in the book if you so choose to get it. I know some of you probably have already gotten it, whether it's the Kindle version or the hardcover or softcover copy, and some are still thinking about it. Some other slides and then resources here. There's a journal that actually came out 6 months ago, the Wake Up Jesus People Journal, that is meant to be a companion of the Wake Up Jesus People book. And I'll go through a breakdown of what a day looks like in here, which is I'm grateful for, highlights of yesterday, what did God teach me yesterday, what dream am I praying that God brings to life, and then prayers and intentions for today, and then daily affirmation. So some of that sacred start is already in there. If you just go through that on a daily basis. You could also just copy this and do it on your own for free. It's nice when it's in a journal and really great. The 40 Forge, there's a challenge that's basically the Jesus version of 75 Hard. And you can see here there's a 40 Forge Light and a 40 Forge Hard. And I have 2 versions of it. I run 6 of these a year. I've gone through about 5 of them so far. So welcome for those of you. A couple of you have gone through the 40 Forge already. But it's basically doing a morning sacred start, including journaling, prayer, Devo time, and exercise, while also incorporating a diet of some sort, and then abstaining from, if you struggle with alcohol, substances, or porn. 3 things that a lot of people are caught up on, and that the devil has chains on us because we're caught up in that. That's a light version. The hard version is over here, much more advanced. And that's all in the book. There's a whole chapter on it. If you guys are interested, the next 40 Forge start date is September 1st, the back to school challenge. Feel free to sign up for that or check it out. Really is fun to get a bunch of people together for those 40 days to level up together. And there's a lot of sign up links potential in the book as well. For being on this call, if you want to write down the code here, it's LCGB. It's for 50% off. So 50% off. You can go to 40forge.com. Check it out. Sign up if you want. But it definitely, it's been cool how I was writing the book and the journal and the 40 Forge came about way before this book has been released. So it's cool those 2 have been out for a little bit. And they weren't even supposed, they were supposed to be a companion to the book. So it's cool to see the fruit from that. And I think there's probably, that I know of, 300 to 400 people who have the journal, have been loving it, at least who've talked to me, said they've loved it based on the reviews. There's about 50 or 60 people going through the 40 Forge. Really cool to see them level up. It's been awesome. Okay, flying through the last few slides because of time, and I want to leave some time for question and answer at the end. But 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life is gone and a new life has begun. And that's what I hope that this book is for a lot of people. You know, I really hope, God has sanctified me big time over the last 10 years, but for sure over the last 2 or 3 on transitioning from trying to build my kingdom to now building his kingdom and be all in for him. It's been awesome. It's been exciting. Life is good, and excited for what he has next in store here. And as Jesus people, and just in life, we have to remember, I believe that showing up is not being perfect every day. It's easy as just a person in life, but especially a Jesus person, to not give yourself grace and to be hard on yourself and to think you're not enough or to think God can't use you. But just showing up every day may look different each day. God can use you for who you are, where you're at, and he's excited to level you up. And I'm excited to see the fruit from the people who read the Wake Up Jesus People book. If you want to stay connected, I don't know what's going to happen with the book. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just hands open, surrendered. What's going to happen, God? Use me, speak through me. Let's roll. And so how I have right now communication is on the Instagram page here of Wake Up Jesus People. If this thing blows up, maybe I'll make a Facebook group or have an email list. I'm not sure yet. I'm just trying to do what I can. And then I do want to say thank you, not only for being on the call or watching this recording, but please share if you know podcasters, if you know groups of Jesus people, if you know churches, if you know pastors, if you know friends who could benefit from the book or seeing something, please share it with them. You know, I'm just one person. I've had some imposter syndrome for sure in this process. And so, just whatever you can do, the power of all of us rising up together as Jesus people is really powerful in many ways. And who knows what, this book or a post or a share can do for someone's Jesus journey. So thank you for those of you who decide to share. Thank you for those of you who buy the book. Today's officially the launch day of the book, but for the first week or 2 of it being on Amazon, the algorithms really matter for the ratings and the reviews. I already have a review. Thank you, Mom. It's funny because it's true. But the reviews really help because they show it's a good book. They show people are buying it and they're liking it. So as soon as you read enough of it to like it and give it a nice, honest 5-star review, please do. I really appreciate it. There is a site now that is great. A lot more resources on there at wakeupjesuspeople.com. So feel free to check that out. And I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. I'm excited what God is doing in me, but also what he's going to do through the book. And to end with Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope." So I hope that for all of you, and I hope that God continues to do work in all of our lives. So thank you for being on here for the live kickoff call. I'm going to stop the recording and the screen share and open it up to some questions here, if you have any. So